Welcome to the Gary Goff Show. We had a special edition for you today. We usually don't start this show until the first week of the football season, but this edition we're going to add the element of fishing. Our special guest today is our head track coach, Jeremy Croy, and we're up here on Lake Erie, one of the gyms of Ohio, and my fellow fishermen here are very excited about up here fishing and talking a little football and track.
Well, it's a gorgeous day out here, obviously. Coach Goff's an expert bass fisherman. I'm just learning my way out here, but very excited to catch a few fish hopefully today and just enjoy the camaraderie and the weather.
Well, we're going to be fishing for smallmouth bass. The Bassmasters ranked Lake Erie about 3 years ago as one of the top 5 bass fishing lakes in the country. So we're very close to this lake there at Tiffin University. We get up here quite a bit in the summer. So we're excited to get out here today and catch some smallmouth bass and again, talk some track and some football. And we're going to talk about Jeremy Croy's national championship. So we're fishing Starve Island right here. One of my favorite spots of smallmouth bass fish. And we're using leeches, little 3-inch leeches, and we're just drop shotting them off the bottom. Coach Croy had an unbelievable season. They won the national championship in indoor track this year, and they were runner-up, just points away from winning the national championship in outdoor track. So, Coach Croy, why don't you share with us that experience and how it was, leading up to that?
It's been a process. It started here in 2000, so it's just been a long, continual, gradual process. We had a lot of success in the NAIA in our early days, won some conference titles there, and then made the jump to Division II 6 or 7 years after I got started, around 2005 or 6, and then stepped it up even more into the GLIAC. And I think that was probably our biggest asset, was moving into the GLIAC, and just it guaranteed that we either had to get better or we were going to get beat down.
I thought it was hilarious. About 6 months ago, me and you were having a conversation, and you said, I think we got a great shot at winning the national championship. Said, but our conference will be really difficult. And that kind of shows you how difficult the GLIAC is and why it's viewed upon as one of the best conferences in all sports.
Indeed. It's, we're going to go through some changes in the future with some of these schools leaving, but it's track and field wise, hands down the toughest conference in the country. And
I can vouch for football as well.
Yeah. I think it was 2 years ago we put 4 teams in the top 6 at the national meet.
Well, how exciting was it, those last few moments? I think you told me that the race there at the end of the indoor track season, y'all were close, but you didn't have an idea of really how close it was going to come down to. And then when you figured out you guys won it, what was that like?
It was pretty stressful. I was throwing up in a trash can. Honestly, during the 3,000 meters, I was never been in that situation before, and never thought that's how I would respond being in that situation.
Right.
So yeah, the trash can and I became great friends during that little 5-minute stretch, and then once I got that out of the system and saw where we were, was pretty content with finishing in the top 4 was our goal, and that's where we ended up being. So I knew after that 3,000 meters that we were at least in that realm.
Right.
So I settled down a little bit after that.
Now, how has recruiting changed in the last couple months because of that? Has it gotten easier? Or?
A little bit. We have probably maybe a 20% spike in applicants and inquiries. But, we still have the same amount of scholarship money, and so we may get an A- kid over a B+ kid now, but it's not like we're going to get an A kid over a D kid.
Yeah, I think that's one of the difficulties to, I think, Division II. You see all these Division I programs all over the news and TV, and, their budgets are unlimited. Now, they're all capped to certain scholarships just like we are, but, I think it's more of a challenge to run a program, and it's kind of like running an organization at our level, because we got a lot of different obstacles that Ohio State or Michigan might not have.
Track is unique. We get to see those schools firsthand. You know, we run against Ohio State and Tennessee, and actually had a guy out at Oregon last week, and so you love taking our kids there and showing them that. But then again, you hate taking them there because it's although we have great resources at Tiffin, it's a whole different ball game when you're talking about Oregon and Tennessee.
You know, I can say that, you know, I've experienced it firsthand since I've been at Tiffin, that facilities make all the difference in the world. And ever since we've gotten that indoor facility, which, you know, you have one side for the track, the other side's the indoor turf field. Ever since we've gotten that, you know, our recruiting's gotten a little bit easier. You know, kids want to come play at an institution that's got great facilities, so we're very fortunate to have that. And I know you've benefited from that facility as well.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had somebody come in and be disappointed when they see that facility. So right. I think they're always impressed, and probably at least 60-70% of the time they say wow. So it's definitely a step up from 16, 17 years ago when we got started.
Well, now you got a nice trophy out front in the lobby. That'll add to the facility.
Doesn't hurt.
Good net job. Coach Croy on the board with the white. You went with white minnow, huh?
I did.
Well, you know, here we like to drop shot for them, so we bounce it off the bottom with a 3-inch leech, and what we're looking for is just a little bit of change in structure. They like the rock, sand, and there's a lot of grass around the Star of Island here. So we've done pretty good here in the past. We'll also hit the back side of South Bass Island. Had a fishing guide that I followed up here for a couple years. He's a friend of my cousin's really down in Columbus, and he comes up here and he's won several bass tournaments on the lake. So he's kind of showed me some good spots over the last couple years. But we'll walleye fish during the right time of the year. Me and Croy's done pretty good on that. Me and my son Tyler actually won a tournament last spring walleye fishing. We're pretty proud of it. I just think it was really luck, but we'll take it.
Isn't that pretty much what fishing is?
Exactly. But really just walleye and smallmouth, and we'll go up in the harbors and largemouth bass fish. But not being from the area, you know, I fell in love with bass fishing a long time ago, and just really shocked to learn that Lake Erie is great at bass fishing as well.
I haven't been on the big water, out on the Great Lakes or the Gulf Coast like Coach Goff, but I grew up fishing the old Tangi River in Columbus, Ohio, and every day after school I'd go down and just wade the river for a mile or 2 miles every day. I probably fished 6 days a week. I remember we would practice. We'd get out of school at 2 o'clock, and sometimes we wouldn't practice till 4. And I'd go get. I had a fishing pole in my locker.
There you go. Good guy. Back off the water right now. Now we wish that was a smallmouth, but unfortunately it's not. This is what we call a lake drum to me. So it's trash fish. Fun to fight. Sometimes you mistake them for something else. You wish they were big. So last week, me and Coach Croy and Coach Robinson, our assistant track coach, we took a muskie trip with a guide on Lake St. Clair's, which is right outside of Detroit. And we did very well. We caught about 5 muskie, which none of us had ever caught before. And you know, I have to admit that Coach Croy and Coach Robinson both caught a lot bigger muskie than I did, but it's okay. But what a beautiful lake, and Croy, that was a good experience, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's I'd never fished up there before. I know you've been bass fishing up there, but it's sort of neat. It's part of the Great Lakes system. You know, the north side of Lake Erie feeds into the Detroit River, which then feeds into Lake St. Clair, and it was sort of neat catching 5 muskie with the Detroit skyline in the background. It was a pretty unique experience.
right? It's another
Jump
big
right
one.
in.
Nice little boy. It's a lot of fun to catch because they're the acrobats in the fresh water. Healthy looking. I've been very fortunate in my career. I played for Hal Mummy and Mike Leach, and then I coached for Hal Mummy for 6 years. And when I left him, I went to Princeton, was on a great staff. But I guess the point I'm making is I've been on some great staffs. When you're working with 12 to 15 grown men that are very competitive, yeah, there's going to be issues arise, but at the same time, you got to keep it professional and understand that, you're there for the same cause, the same reason. Our staff does a lot together, and I think you have to, especially at our level. I mean, you do it all, you wear many hats.
Was it part of being on the same page to keep your message on the same page for the kids and everything as well?
Absolutely. And if you're not, the players know it, and then it becomes, this fake feeling. Everybody's not there for the same cause and trying to get the same thing accomplished. So absolutely, everybody's got to be on the same page. That's why we meet so long and study our opponent's film and our film, and that's why so many hours go into it. You can't just walk out on the field and accomplish, win the football. Oh! I'm feeling it. He's taking us out to sea. Got it. I got it. Alright.
Good work.
Bud. Step back. Gotta keep Croy in the good spot still.
You need to hold the net.
I'll give it to you in a second. Yep, look out. I'll wait. You can just lay the net down. It's fine for now. I'll get it out.
Is he wrapped around the net?
Yeah, his mouth's all in it. Watch out there. And that right there is a nice Lake Erie smallmouth. So, good looking fish. We can do this all day long. Croy, 1-1.
I'll put my pole back in the water.
Got off?
Broken off.
Well, that wraps up our first edition of our Coaches Show and Fishing Show. As we continue to push for Tiffin University to add fishing and us co-coach it together, we're going to continue to do this show at least once every summer.
Up for that.
You're up for that?
Up for that, Coach.
No, we had a blast. Caught a little bit some fish today. It wasn't a great day of fishing, but a great day on the lake. And you know what? We're really excited about our football season. We're excited about the players we got coming back. Very excited about the track season. Can't wait to see this guy win another national championship.
We're ready for it. We're ready for it. What a beautiful background. Just a wonderful evening, afternoon on the water. Fabulous.
Well, and that concludes our first coaching fishing show. After we finish this and grab a bite to eat on Putin Bay, me and Coach Croy are going to back out fishing some more today. Have a good one. Go Dragons. Next time, we're going to do this more.